This is KGW News at noon.
We start here at noon with breaking news. Nurses at OHSU have reached a tentative deal with the hospital to avoid a strike. The Oregon Nurses Association says the deal came together yesterday after almost 60 hours of negotiations. The deal includes raises for nurses and new guidelines for minimum safe staffing standards. Nearly 3,200 OHSU nurses were set to walk off the job if a deal could not be reached. Nurses will start voting on this new contract this Sunday.
Unions built the middle class. That's a fact.
That was the message from President Biden today to auto workers who are striking across the country. He's the first sitting president to ever join striking workers on the picket line. Thanks for joining us here at noon. I'm Drew Carney. President Biden exchanged fist bumps with some of those workers as he walked along the line today. He also used a bullhorn to tell them they deserve a significant raise. The workers' union has asked for a 40% raise, with 20% of that up front. At this point, it appears the big three U.S. automakers have agreed to about half of that.
The fact of the matter is that you guys, UAW, you saved the automobile industry back in 2008 and before. Made a lot of sacrifices, gave up a lot, and the companies were in trouble. But now they're doing incredibly well. And guess what? You should be doing incredibly well too.
Former President Donald Trump, meanwhile, who remains the frontrunner for the 2024 Republican nomination, will go to Detroit tomorrow to hold his own event with auto workers. Here locally, the Portland Bureau of Transportation is facing a major budget shortfall. The agency is telling City Council it wants to slash $32 million from its budget. So this could mean cuts to PBOT services and workers losing their jobs. One source of PBOT revenue is local gas taxes, but that revenue stream is drying up with more drivers switching to electric cars. PBOT has already cut its budget by over $20 million over the past 5 years. KGW's China Green is at today's PBOT meeting with City Council. She'll bring us reaction to this proposal in her report later today during the news at 4. All right, time for a check on the weather with meteorologist Rod Hill. Rod, we know that wet weather is continuing today.
Yeah, you know, it hasn't been terribly wet in downtown Portland or Salem yet. It's been showery weather. But you can see clearly there are showers scattered across our region. I have been watching lightning strikes. Earlier we had some lightning on shore down around Yachat, south of Newport. These thunderstorms are currently about 35 miles offshore. You folks at the coast continue to have a thunderstorm threat. I do want to also show you that the winds, like yesterday, are quite breezy at times and in spots. From the south right now, blowing in Newport to 31. Same thing up in Astoria, Kelso, Portland, Salem. The reporting airports all showing south winds 20 to 22 miles per hour. So breezy, showers at time. The lightning threat this afternoon, mainly here along the coast. You can see it's kind of dark looking out over the water. This is Lincoln City, our Chinook Winds Casino Resort camera. Now there are, on the flip side, some bright spots. Here's Three Rivers Golf Course up in Kelso, where we saw the winds are breezy from the south, but currently a little bit of sunshine and at least a few breaks over downtown Portland. We're at 63. The forecast, scattered showers continuing, 66 at 4 o'clock. Overnight tonight, pretty good rainstorm coming in. Could be stormy with thunder and lightning. We'll show you that on Futurecast coming up in just a moment.
All right, Rob, we look forward to that coming up here in a few minutes. But right now, we want to get back to some of today's headlines. This time in Vancouver. Vancouver police will begin installing cameras in all of its patrol vehicles today. That includes both front-facing and rear passenger cameras. Police say outfitting their 120 vehicle fleet in Vancouver will take about a month. Earlier this year, the department also started handing out body cameras to its officers. Today is the last day to apply to get on the affordable housing wait list in Washington County. A total of 244 housing units are available. We checked in with Washington County and were told that they had already received over 1,200 applications as of yesterday morning. The deadline to apply is tonight at 5 o'clock. The city of Salem is backtracking its appeal to pull benefits from a firefighter's widow. Firefighter Mo Stadley died of tonsil cancer in 2019. His widow was getting workers' compensation benefits until officials claimed that his work did not contribute to his cancer. Multiple firefighters across the state testified at yesterday's council meeting to demand that his widow keep those benefits. The council later called their appeal to pull her benefits a mistake. The body of an airman killed in action is back home now in Oregon. This was the scene as Trinity Reinhardt's casket landed at PDX and was escorted down I-5. She died in what the Air Force is calling a Humvee incident. A lot of people gathered outside the funeral home in Springfield to pay tribute yesterday. 19-year-old Reinhardt was serving at Warren Air Force Base, and before that she was at Willamette Leadership Academy. A former classmate of hers says she quickly rose to become one of the highest-ranking women there.
She was just a really sweet-hearted, kind person, wanted to see people smile constantly. She did her best, even though she was higher ranking at the school. She was just, honestly, a kind person.
The Humvee crash happened in northeastern Colorado. The Air Force says it is still investigating. A court victory, meanwhile, for a non-binary student in the Greater Albany School District who said they were discriminated against. The student's name is Lior, and they'll receive a $300,000 or $300,000 judgment because of this case. A federal jury found that they were the victim of bullying and harassment at Oak Grove Elementary. And for years, the principal and administrators did little to help.
People called me the F slur, they told me I was the devil spawn, things like this.
They have since left Oak Grove Elementary. In addition to the settlement, the Greater Albany School District says it's working to better support LGBTQ+ students in the classroom. A decision about the fate of Measure 114, meanwhile, is now in the hands of a Harney County judge. Oregon voters approved one of the strictest gun control laws in the country, but it's been tied up in courts ever since it passed last November. Evan Watson takes a look at closing arguments.
If a right can be taken away simply because it furthers public safety in some way, it is not a right at all.
In southeastern Oregon, a Harney County judge will decide if the state's new gun control legislation, Measure 114, is constitutional. The trial ended Monday, with attorneys giving their closing arguments.
We disagree. The permit to purchase provisions do not prohibit acquisition of firearms. They require individuals to establish that they are not a danger to themselves or others and pass a training component.
Last November, 50.6% of Oregon voters approved the gun control package, but it's faced legal challenges since then. Measure 114 would require a permit to buy a gun, expand background checks, and ban large capacity magazines holding more than 10 rounds. Gun owners and their lawyers say that's suppressing their rights.
Plaintiffs have shown that the need, which provided the original justification for Article 1, Section 27, is just as crucial today as it was 165 years ago. More importantly, plaintiffs have shown that these individual rights still matter, and that there are still Oregonians willing to go to bat for those rights in court against the might of the state.
Oregon Department of Justice lawyers say self-defense standards don't hold up with advances in gun technology.
The fact that detachable magazines and automatic fire technology were eventually used for civilian purposes cannot, according to the Court of Appeals, quote, bootstrap these weapons into personal defense weapons so that they come within the constitutional protection.
Earlier this year, a federal judge ruled that Measure 114 is lawful under the U.S. Constitution, agreeing with defense lawyers that requiring a permit to purchase a gun is okay, plus large capacity magazines are not commonly used for self-defense. That case is being appealed.
One note to Evan's report there. The judge says while he has to issue a ruling within 2 months, he expects to have a decision sooner than that. And all indications at this point are whichever way he rules, the decision will likely be appealed.